You guys, welcome to episode 30 of The Big Messy Bun. We are going to ramp right up into this episode with a theme from last week. We're carrying it through, and it's about the summer of change. You guys, I had to be called on it my own self last week. Yes, I have this thing that I've been working on, right? My summer of change, some of my goals for this summer, and showing up here as my best self for you guys, and showing up at work, showing up for my classes, my family, my friends, my boyfriend, all of it are all part of me showing up as my best self. And the other day, I really wanted to just stay up late and not do the things that I know I need to do to have a good life, good energy, good feeling all around. And so it was actually my boyfriend that he's like, summer of change. Like he kind of like said those words to me. And I'm like, dang it. And he was right. And I was like, you know what? Sometimes you need somebody in your corner, just sort of like giving you that reminder, that little, just like, hey, I hear you, I see you, and I want this for you as much as you want it for yourself. So I decided to pop in here today and talk to you a little bit about the fact that nothing changes if nothing changes. Like, I know it sounds so silly, right? But nothing seriously will change in your life until you take that first step, until you say yes, say no to something, like take some sort of action, no matter what it is, like no matter what the thing is that you decided that you wanted to do or stop doing, right? There could be things you're wanting to add, and there could be things you want to eliminate. And so nothing changes if nothing changes. So this morning when I got to work, I walked in and I was ready to teach my group. And we have about 30 people, 25, 30 people at this class. And it's a strength and stretch class, but we use our body weight for resistance. We're not lifting weights. Anyways, when we gather, I always gather with a little story and kind of just get them hyped up. And today I was asked a question by one of the members, and they said, do you ever get depressed? And I was like, yeah, I do. I do, in fact, get depressed. I get down. I feel like I don't want to do life some days. I said, absolutely, I do. And then he said, well, what do you do about it? And I said, well, there's a few things, and a lot of them are the habits that I've kept doing over the years. And a big thing is what I shared in past episodes is that if I get down about my current situation, like what's currently happening, that's one thing, right? And I'll figure out what that looks like for myself. But if I go and allow myself to go back in time and get down or feel depressed over something that's in the past, it's such a waste of our energy because there's nothing I can do about the past. So I told the group, I said, I first try to figure out what's got me down. Is it just the weather? Did I sleep shitty? Did I eat shitty? Like, what's caused this feeling in me? And then I try to figure that out. And if it's just like I'm just having a blue time, and sometimes I have that, I allow it to just roll through me. Where I try to stop it, and what I told them is that I try to just stop it from ruminating, from taking over. So I've shared with you guys on the podcast the things that I do. But again, going back to the idea that nothing changes if nothing changes, if I just stay in that state of mind and just let it sit there, I could get really low, like really, really low. So I decide either I move my body, I change up my scenery, sometimes I journal, sometimes I just put on loud music, I clean, I do different things, call a friend. Oh my Lord, lots of times I will just call somebody that I know I can reach out to and just have that quick conversation to help lift me out of it. So there's lots of things that we can do. But I want to share with you guys a bit of a story. And next week, you guys are going to get a guest on the show. And the gentleman that I'm going to be interviewing, I'm not going to go big into his story because I don't know how much he wants to share, but he's going to be allowed to share whatever he wants to. And it is about turning your pain into purpose. So today's episode is about turning your pain and things that could be hurtful to you or even just outright terrible, how to turn it into perhaps something that can turn out to be something better in the long run. Now, I must say, if you're in the thick of pain, you may just want to skip this episode until you're feeling a bit better and come back, because it's not one that you're going to want to listen to if you're in the thick of, or you might find comfort in it. But I know for myself, if I'm speaking to an audience, I always say to an audience, if I'm speaking on this topic, I will say something along the lines of like, if you're going through a really tough time right now, this might not be the thing you want to hear, but perhaps you can take a nugget away with you today. And that's what I share with you guys here too. So when we talk about turning our pain into purpose, something that I always will reflect and share my personal life experiences, because I have permission to share for me what I can share because it's my life and I'm going to share. It's my show and that's what I do. So for me, I've had a few different pains along the way that's guided me through this career in wellness that I've had. And excuse me, I definitely turned my own pain into purpose at a very young age. And I didn't really understand that concept, pain into purpose, honestly, till about probably the last 5 or 10 years that I was doing that. But when I was in my early years, I was more like frightened into wellness. Like I had already started taking care of my health when I was in my late teens. But when my dad passed away suddenly when I was 19, almost 20, I took about 6 months to just sit in my feelings and just try to help my mom figure out what her next steps were. I wasn't living at home, but I was definitely around to help her a lot and help her navigate that time. And then I returned to fitness after about 6 months. And I remember just really being aware of heart disease, and I didn't want to get a heart attack, and I didn't want to die young, and all of these things. And then I did some other things along the way. Like I liked the idea that you could lift things and change your shape, your body composition. I found that was pretty fascinating. So then I did some bodybuilding, and then I went on and had children. And it was after I had my first kid that I was like, okay, like this is it. Like I got a human now to take care of. I want to make sure I'm here for a while. And I started preparing for that when I was pregnant. Then the day after Jack was born, I've shared on the podcast, my mom had a heart attack, like the day after my son was born. And we were in the hospital at the same time. And I remember just feeling like, holy shit, I already lost my dad. Now I'm going to lose my mom. And she didn't die from her heart attack, but she was very unhealthy for the remainder of her life. And thinking back, she had her heart attack when she was about 60, and she died at 77. So for 17 years, her life was very challenging. Okay. I just turned 54, and I sometimes think, holy crap, like the level of health that I have, that I've had to work really hard for, and I what's the word I'm looking for? I accept the challenge. I want to do the work to remain healthy and be strong. where am I going? Oh my God, I got so sidetracked, you guys. Partly, I have a picture of my mom. For those of you on the video, I have a little, actually, two things I have in front of me. I have this little wooden phone stand that Casper made me in about, I don't know, ninth grade. And I have a picture of my mom, myself, and little Jack when he was just a tiny baby. Look at all the hair that child had. Oh my Lord, he had so much hair. So I have gotten a little sidetracked, but when I look at the lives that I want to impact and change and show up for in a good way, these are the things that shaped me. And I always say this when I'm at work and I share a story, I'm like, there's a little reason why I'm wired like this and why I want to see change in you. And I shared on last week's episode about my mom having changed so much in her last 5 years of life. She was a fighter. She worked so hard to get up out of a bed and walk again. She worked so hard at that. And she wanted change to take place. She wanted that for herself. And so when I'm working now and I help people with these things, it's not just for something to do. This is what I am wired for. And so when I took a painful situation, having unhealthy parents, and was able to turn it, and I'm sharing this with you so that you can look at something that you might be challenged with right now, and how could you possibly turn it? That doesn't mean you have to make a career out of it, but rather than sitting in a pain, see if there's a way you can turn it into something different for yourself. Next week's guest, you're really gonna understand why I'm talking about this today, because he definitely did this with his life, and it's massive. Like, you're gonna want to tune in. It's not gonna be one of those episodes that I even can sum up right now, because I don't know exactly where he's gonna go with his story, but it is an incredible story. And it is especially a good one if you have ever felt like, I'm going to go a little deep here, but if you've ever felt like alcohol has been a tough thing for you, like perhaps hard to say no to, or maybe you do things when you're drinking that you wouldn't do otherwise, like you wouldn't do these things if you were sober, you might want to tune in and just listen to his story. And yeah, it's really good. I don't want to go down too far. I want him to share for himself. So that is next week. So please don't miss that episode. We're going to talk about, though, change. And if you decide that you want to change something, there's sometimes the people what you surround yourself with, right, is going to be conducive to that change happening or not. So if you are trying to do something, I'm going to try to think of something other than fitness, because I talk about fitness all the time. Let's say you wanted to, I'm going to go back. It's just, this might comfort you guys. It's what I've always done. Okay, so I'm just going to share my own example. If you're trying to get healthier and change for the better for yourself, okay, and you can continually surround yourself with, let's say, people that are sabotagers or that are not of a strong growth mindset, you're going to be yanked down constantly. Like, you're going to feel that pull. And something that I can tell you, when you go through growth, it doesn't happen overnight, but it happens by continually saying yes to the person that you want to become, saying yes to you consistently over and over and over. Where it is helpful is if you have people in your corner that love you, support you, but also challenge you for growth. I've had all of that in my in my world. And I've been so grateful to that. If you're listening here today and you've been like really on the fence about a change that you've been wanting to make and you feel it, you know it. Because you know, when you know it, if you see someone doing that change that you're thinking about, you start to really notice. So for me with podcasting, I wanted to do this so bad. And I was so putting it off because I thought I won't know how to do it. Is really the biggest holdback. Was I nervous about what people would say? I'm kind of done with that. Like, I really don't give a flying fuck what people think. If they think this is so dumb, why do you do this? I'm really just here to share for people that want to hear it. And like, I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And that's okay. I've gotten to a place where I'm okay with that. Like, I used to want to please everybody. I wanted everybody to like me because I just grew up very much trying to please my whole family and life and people and friends and partners. I even wanted to please my kids all the time. I never wanted them to be unhappy. I didn't want conflict, none of that. And I'm honestly at this place now where I'm like, I love doing this and I hope it's helpful. And when I hear from you guys that an episode has helped you in some way, I'm like, okay, keep showing up. Keep sharing your story, Katey. Like, don't hold back. But what held me back was the technical end. I still don't have an intro and an extra. I still don't know how to edit. So if you're ever a guest on this show or you hear me, I don't know how to edit this. So like, you get it exactly as it is. And that's just the way it is. One day I'll learn to edit it, and that's okay. I'm okay doing it in the pace that I am. But what held me back, or sorry, let me go back further. When I knew I wanted this change, when I knew I wanted to do this, I was noticing everyone who was starting a podcast. I'm like, they're doing it. They're doing it. Why not me? Like, why not? Right? And so then I just grabbed the mic one day. And I'm going to share with you guys what was the pivot point. Okay? I've never shared this on the podcast yet, but I'm going to share it with you because it was sort of a big step for me. Well, you guys are like, Katey, that's not a big step. So it wasn't something massive, but I had went on a date New Year's Eve, and the guy was kind of, yeah, he was just like, I knew instantly, I'm like, this guy is not, like, I felt myself instantly like, oh my God, churning in my stomach. This is going to be, whatever, just get me home. And the following day, he was texting, wanting to hang out. Well, he wanted to hang out all night. I was like, nope, like, get me the fuck home. I'm out. And then I was at work the following day, and I just dumped him. Like, basically, dumped him. I just said, I'm out. Like, not interested, nothing, see ya. And then I came home, and I'm like, why are you not recording a podcast? And I just grabbed my laptop, grabbed my mic, and I hit record. And I was just so proud of myself that I wasn't going to tolerate, because people will say to you, oh, you got to go on 2 or 3 dates and then you'll know. No, my fucking gut was like, bang on, knew it. And I was just like, see ya. Like, not even I'm not going to, no, none of it. Just done. And so I don't know why I shared that with you guys, but I did. But where I'm going to go back to is when you see someone doing something that you know you want to change. Maybe you've watched someone who decided to stop drinking. I have so many incredible friends that and acquaintances. It's beautiful to see on social media when people are celebrating their their sobriety. I'm just so happy for them that they're finding a new way of living. I will tell you a cute story from last weekend. I was hanging out with my boyfriend all weekend, and he had a couple of friends visiting, and we hung out all weekend. And it was Monday evening, and they offered me a glass of wine, and I said, "No, I'm good," and I just left it at that. And and then he said something else. I can't remember what he said. And then the guy looked at me and he's like, "Do you drink?" And I'm like, "No." And he's like, "You don't drink at all? Like, nothing?" I'm like, "No, I haven't for 4.5 years." "Seriously?" "Yeah, nothing." And he's like, "Huh, I thought you were like all weekend." Like he thought I was drinking all weekend long because I was having as much fun as everybody else. And I share that story with you because I get asked that a lot. Like, isn't it boring? Do you even have fun? I get asked that a lot. And I just do. I have a great fucking time without it. And I really don't enjoy any part of it. And now that I've learned more about my brain health and how it impacts that, I'm like, I've worked really hard to stay healthy and strong. So why would I pour that shit down my mouth just to fit in or just to whatever? You guys, this is an all over the map episode, is it not? Well, it is. And I am just going to wrap things up because I do feel like I've kind of been mumbling a little bit here today, and some days it's like that. One thing I will share with you, though, if you've been on the fence for change and you are really ready to make a change, you do not have to have it figured out. You don't. You probably in your gut know. You know there's something brewing in you right now because it's been tugging at your heart. It's been tugging at your gut for quite some time now. I know it is because it tugged at me and it tugged at me and it tugged at me. The things that any change I wanted to make in my life, no matter what, I felt the tug in my gut. And so I'm going to leave this with you that you don't have to have it figured out. It's never too late to make a change. Never, ever too late. So I'm going to wrap up episode 30 of The Big Messy Bun. Stay tuned next week for an incredible guest. Can't wait for you to meet him. And until next week, keep up. Keep up. Keep doing. Keep taking those steps. Last week, I will share this with you. I had a couple of you message me and tell me that you did take me for a walk, that you put me in your earphones and you just went walking with me. And I invite you to go lace up, put us back on, or go find some music that you just love and listen to that and take yourself out for a walk. Okay, this is a wrap. Episode 30 of The Big Messy Bun. If you're not following this show, follow it and share it with a friend. Bye.